Okay, if y'all ready, we'll go ahead and get started. Now, if you are any questions,
stand, please. Father, we thank you for blessing us in this county, and we, first of all, thank you for the natural resources that you've created, and we can enjoy and work and play and live here. I thank you for the human resources that are here in our county and the citizens that care about this county and care about the community that we have. And I pray that you'll guide us as we discuss things and take actions tonight, that we will do those things that will enable us to grow, to be prosperous, to be able to have a even better place to live and to work and play. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
okay, are there any corrections to the minutes? You always it does come first, doesn't it? Okay, I would make a motion that we approve the agenda with the following modifications. On new business, item 2, action on unsellable property at tax sales, that be moved to June. Appointment, that's what I was looking for. Appointment, item 3, appointment of a physician to the Board of Health, that be moved to June. Item 10, consideration of penetrated application for probate office, that be moved to June.
Can I ask about item 8?
We will need to move that to June as well. I'll include that. And that's all my changes, the other. So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, are there any changes to any corrections? I have none.
I have none.
And
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
The authorization, to authorize the execution of fiscal year 17-18 North Georgia Community Action Agreement for Rural Public Transportation Service MES. Yeah, after this.
You'll have to forgive Charlie, he's got his mind on a basketball.
I'm trying to get out of here, folks. I'm ready to go through this list.
I'll make it fast.
Go ahead, give us that financial statement.
I'll make it quick.
This is the financial statement for April 30th. Each department should be at 33% of their budget used. Departments over budget at April 30th are Board of Commissioners Office at 35%, Sheriff's Office at 34%, Juvenile Court Fund at 35%. Overall, we are at 23% of the total revenue budget received and 31% of the total expenditure budget used. Total revenue received to date, $4,579,364. Total expenditures to date, $6,174,095.
Okay, and I should note on the Board of Commissioners being over budget that is due to paying our auditors,
Yes.
which will be kind of a one-time shock that will not.
Right, it'll level out.
It'll level out, okay. Are there any questions on the financial statement?
It was worth noting that's through April.
Yes, correct.
It is.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Are we ready to talk about match number one? This is the one where I believe we were just going to modify the current resolution to specify through fiscal year 17 and 18. Is that?
Yes, this is the employment of North Georgia Community Action Group
Yeah.
to provide the services. And what it does, the resolution as drafted, allows you to sign the agreement and any future supplements that may be necessary so long as it doesn't increase the appropriations.
We had a draft, suitable to do.
It was emailed.
Okay. You're okay with it?
And that was the only change to the previous, was just to add the date.
Yeah, that, was it 1 year? Or,
It said through 17 and 18.
yeah, we did that same thing a year ago.
Comment that needed some further.
Y'all had entered into one aspect of it in 2000. It's at the end of 2016, I believe it's third, fourth quarter. There will be one other, because this is the agreement with North Georgia Community Action. We'll actually have the match portion of the funding that will come in as well, the 3501, I believe is what they call that. That's going to come in probably in another month or two, and that one will be done the same way. Authorizing Charlie to sign that application, that grant. And as long as, in both cases, it's to avoid having that become an agenda item on a monthly basis. Yeah.
Okay, I move we adopt the resolution authorizing the chairman to execute the maps.
I second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of contract with Piedmont ER for ambulance services. So Tommy, do we have a completed version of that with blanks filled in?
We do, but there are some of the things that we need to look at that David had put comments on the contract.
Yeah, okay.
It was just to clear up some information, but most of it should be cleared up pretty easily.
Okay, can we go through those items?
You can at this meeting if you like, but some of the concerns and questions.
Oh, your concern was,
We're going to deal with the insurer, ACCG, where not y'all going to need specific endorsements. And I don't have an answer to those at this point in time. They got the $5 million cybersecurity policy requirement. I don't have my comments here in front of me, but it was $5 million cybersecurity policy protection. And there was a professional liability E&O, which is a little bit concerning to me as to why they would have felt the necessity to have that. But there's some other issues, and I shared it with Sandy so that she would see it. I'm sure she didn't get a chance to really look at it too closely. But they're alleging that the agreement will be entered into the Gilmer County Department of Public Safety doing business as Gilmer County Fire and Emergency Medical Services, and they go on further to identify that as a for-profit corporation. And I addressed the question, I didn't know that the county had a for-profit corporation, and if it did, I was unaware of it, but I don't think you've ever filed a tax return for a for-profit corporation. And normally on an incorporation that's doing business there, you also have to do a publication and file that with the clerk of court here, and the statement that you're doing business as, and I don't think there's anything in the clerk's office to reflect that. So I don't think they've got this entity all correct. I believe it's really probably should be Gilmer County, it would be the correct entity.
I think what they've done is taken one of their private ambulance services that is for profit, and David, I should have called that.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
That's what they've done, and they've used the contract they have with somebody else that's for profit, and they
There are a couple of other issues that I mean, if there's not an urgency to adopt a resolution authorizing you to enter into this agreement, I would urge you to look at the other comments that I had, and plus Travis and I were talking about some other issues that are ancillary to this that I think merit further discussion. We can dive into it this evening, but that'll put that boat out there in the dark.
Well, it sounds like we can't settle anything with it.
I really don't think you can. I think the best course of action will do it. And I mean, is there an urgency to push it any earlier than June? Would the June meeting be all right?
Yeah, that would be fine, because they had said that whenever we finally do adopt the contract, they will go back to the original date and start doing business with them and honor that. So then that was the thing, they wanted the commissioners and you to look over it to make sure you were good with it, but they'll go back and honor it before it's adopted.
Mr. Chairman, I feel we do need an agreement with Piedmont. I think to have one is relevant and important, because it's a new venture in one sense, and I like things in writing for that purpose. I haven't not had a chance to study it at all. I saw it, but I haven't studied it. I would prefer that we take it up and look at it next month. That would be my preference.
We need a motion for that to table.
One question, this only covers transport from the ER to other facilities?
That's correct, yes.
It does not affect the regular 911 response and transport to that
Not in any
way.
way.
So I don't believe there's an urgency there, because
Right.
you've got 83 calls or transports in April, and we're already getting the jobs.
Okay,
I would prefer to hash that one.
then I would make a motion that we table this to June.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of requested funds for computers for Gilmer County Extension Office. I think we decided we didn't really need to take any action on this tonight. We just need to.
The total amount was $400.
400, yeah, 400,
I think they're well under budget currently. I think the budget can absorb it. If it doesn't, we can make an amendment later.
Okay. Okay, so, guess I would make a motion that we table this, or not table it, what do we
We don't
need?
even need to table it.
We just need to,
Maybe the other question would be a motion to lay it aside.
okay, I'll make a motion that we lay it aside.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the application of Bharat Patel, Yukon Convenience Store, for an alcoholic beverage license. Shannon, I believe everything is in order on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any discussion on it?
The applicant is present as code requires.
All right. Then I would make a motion that we approve the application.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And this is just a change of ownership, basically, so to let people know.
There has been an existing license at that location.
Consideration of a letter of support from the Board of Commissioners for the proposed mountain bike trail projects on Corps of Engineers property at Ridgeway and
About it.
Amati.
It was a circulated suggestion of the letter.
And I'm fine with it. I think Dallas, did you say you were okay?
I looked at Travis, the draft that we have, and I had no changes to that. I do not know if anyone else has had that draft available or know what that is. It might be worth reading, Travis,
I'll be glad to do that.
so that the public knows what it says.
So a little background there, on Carter's Lake on the north shore, there are two recreation areas, one being Woodring Branch, the other way being Ridgeway. They have existing mountain bike trails There's a proposal under cooperation between the LJ Mountain Bike Club and the Corps of Engineers to extend both trail systems. All of the entire extension would be within the boundaries of the existing recreation areas. And so this is the resolution of support that's being proposed. Whereas Gilmer County has been designated the mountain bike capital of Georgia by House Resolution 1611, and whereas the Gilmer County Board of Commissioners recognizes the importance of tourism and outdoor recreation to the local economy, and whereas the community suffers from a shortage of beginner, intermediate, and family-friendly mountain bike trails, and the LJ Mountain Bike Association, as the local chapter of SORBA and IMBA, has a long-standing relationship with federal and state agencies regarding the design, construction, and maintenance of mountain bike trails in the LJ area on state and federal properties. And whereas the LJ Mountain Bike Association has contracted with Preston York, owner of Flow Motion Trail Builders, to design sustainable, fun, and safe trail extensions to the existing trail systems at Ridgeway and Woodring Branch recreation areas, which are suitable to riders of all skill levels. Now therefore be it resolved by the Gilmer County Board of Commissioners to issue this resolution of support for proposed trail extensions within the confines of Ridgeway and Woodring Branch recreation areas. So resolved 11th May.
Is there any discussion on that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I need to ask you to come to the podium and state your name.
Okay. My name is Dylan Campbell, and I'm a resident of Woodring Branch. The residents have sent a letter to the Board of Commissioners in regard to this mountain bike trail, and I would like to see a response to that letter before
It was my understanding from the y'all's attorney yesterday that the portion of this that was being objected to had been resolved, and that there was no further objections.
That's not my understanding.
Okay.
Just to clarify, the section of trail that was designated connector trail between Woodring and Ridgeway, that portion of the project has been dropped entirely. And it was our understanding from the attorney and those present at the workshop that that was the objectionable part of the project.
We sent a letter to the commissioners, and it had 3 pages of questions we had in regard to the trail.
I'll be happy to address that right now. The vast majority of the questions that you have are questions that would be not applicable to the Board of Commissioners. For instance, question number 1 is how much money was given by Georgia Transmission for damage to Ridgeway Recreation Area bike trails, and why was money given to a private group for damage to public property? That's nothing, the Board of Commissioners didn't do that. That's the Georgia Transmission, and they're a private entity, and we don't know how much money was given. They don't report that to us, and they don't report to us. That's a question that you would have to ask the Georgia Transmission. Similarly, who received the money? When was the money paid? When did the Corps of Engineers hold public meetings on the trails? None of this has to do with the Board of Commissioners. It's Corps of Engineers, it's Georgia Transmission. The Board of Commissioners, short of being asked to consider this letter right here, has done absolutely nothing on this. This is not a county project. No county funds have been expended on this. No county studies, nothing. The only questions on here that I feel that the county could actually, that it would be appropriate for the county to answer. Question 25, has a survey been done to determine how much the local Gilmer County economy will grow by year for the next 5 years as a result of the trails? And the answer to that would be no, as far as I'm aware. Has a survey been done to determine how much Gilmer County government revenues will increase by year for the next 5 years as a result of the trails? And the answer is no, no survey. Has a survey been done to determine how much Gilmer County's expenditure budget will increase by year over the next 5 years as a result of the trails? And again, no, that has not been. The next one that would actually be applicable to the Board of Commissioners would be question 35. Actually, I'm not sure that would be applicable to us. It says, what communication has occurred with the community at large? If none, why not? From our perspective, it is none. And the why not is, this is not a county endeavor. It's nothing that we're associated with. What communication has occurred with adjacent property owners? Hopefully there's been some communication, but it hasn't been from us. And again, the reason it hasn't been from us is because we're not involved in any of this.
Okay, well, there has been no communication, and so...
But there would be none from us. We're not involved.
There was discussion at the workshop yesterday, a public meeting. It was an advertised agenda item. But that's the only communication that has occurred from the county that I'm aware of.
Okay, well...
Questions like 55, will convicted felons be allowed on the trails? I can answer question 60. Will Gilmer County pay for any part of the design, construction, and maintenance of the trails and access paths and parking? At this point, the answer to that is no. Will Gilmer County pay for any county road improvements associated with the trails? At this point, that answer would be no. The other questions, when did the Corps of Engineers hold public meetings? Where was it publicized? We don't know. That's a Corps of Engineers question.
Well, the problem, sir, is that we don't know either.
And I'm not disputing that at all. I'm simply saying that, if you, for instance, if you have a complaint about your gas bill, you don't go to the electric company. That's kind of what's happening here. We're not involved in this at all.
So you're going to endorse the project over our complaints about...
Well, at the time we discussed endorsing the project, there was a representative from your community and the attorney that y'all had hired sitting in our work session yesterday. And as a result of the discussion that happened in that work session, y'all's attorney made the comment to us that y'all were satisfied and that there were no further objections. So on that basis, yes, sir, we decided that we would go ahead and with a letter of support.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good evening. I'm Terry Palmieri. I'm the Associate Director of the International Mountain Bike Association and SORBA, which is the Southern Off-Road Bicycling Association. I help and support our 42 chapters across the Southeast and our 5,000 members. So I'm here to help out the LA Mountain Bike Association. I also live here. We have had a long relationship with Carter's Lake. We've had trail there for over 20 years, the Mattahay Trail and the Ridgeway Trail. When we found out that Georgia Transmissions was going to put power lines across the Ridgeway Trail, we worked with them for 5 years to negotiate a settlement for the damage that would cause the Ridgeway Trails. We decided to do things professionally, so when we received a check for $20,000, we used it to engage a professional trail designer. He came and looked at the Ridgeway Trails. He also, we also asked that we can design some extra trail for Wood Ring Branch, and then we wanted to see if we can connect it to using the property that goes along the lake. When the homeowners did get some wind of that, I did meet with Dallas back in December to let him know that we just started with the plan. We didn't even know if that trail was feasible. And plus, I gave him lots of information about how the trails will actually enhance property values at the subdivision, and many studies have been done on it, and also decrease in illegal activities. So that seemed to be some of the concerns. Since then, we have been asked to show the concept plan. We didn't get it done until now. It's actually public now, so anybody can see the concept plan. We're actually going to get it up on our website shortly. The commissioners all have a concept plan. So with that concept plan being done, then we turn it over to Army Corps because it has to go through the rigorous approval process. Whether it's going to be done or not, we don't even know. And that takes time. So once Army Corps gets a hold of the concept plan, that's when they start doing their work. And I imagine there'll be some public meetings at that time. So nobody was not wanting to have a public meeting. I offered to have a public meeting when I spoke with Dallas at that time, so we can address some of these concerns. I certainly don't want to upset any homeowners. What this means to our community is big. We have been this destination for mountain biking for over 30 years. Mountain bikers have been coming here for 30 years. They do that because one of your third largest states, Florida, they have to travel up here to reach some real mountain bike trail, and they've been doing that. They've also been purchasing property up here. I did a survey, economic impact study, that went out to about 3,000 contacts. I got 278 responses within 2 weeks, which is pretty high for the survey. We had 28 have already bought second homes here. 157 were considering purchasing a second home. When they come here, they spend average of 2 days, but up to a week. They're spending money when they come here. And I estimated that they're spending, if they're staying more than one night, they're spending $228 a day. We have lots of folks who come up from the Atlanta area for day trips. They spend $87 a day. So this is a huge economic impact for our county on a sustainable resource. This is sustainable. They were also coming up during the economic downturn. We thought at the bike shop that, you know, our business would go down unless people would come up here. Not so, because they can afford those short trips up here to mountain bike. They were still coming. So on this survey, mountain bikers, 76% of them have graduated from college and have a degree. And what's really surprising, their approximate average household income, the highest group is over $200,000. They like to support local businesses. They shop local, they eat local, they go to the wineries. They're very much into supporting local businesses. They come here, they use our trails and spend their money, and then they go home. What more can you want? We're also poised to become a designation. The International Mountain Bike Association has a model trail program. And one of the model trails is the IMBA Ride Center designation. We fell short of acquiring that at the bronze level. This is very similar to the bicycle-friendly designation that cities go after. We fell short of the bronze level by just a few points. It's because we didn't have enough of the beginner trail. We've got about 50 miles of trails here in the area, but most of it is difficult to do. So folks bringing their families and their kids really don't have a place to ride. Woodring Branch can do a lot to support that. The trail system that we're planning there is what we call a stacked loop. It's where beginners can access a beginner trail right there from the trailhead, and then there's something for everybody to do there. So whole groups can go to this trailhead and have something to ride. It also will give them enough length of trail to be there for about 2 to 3 hours. Mountain bikers, when they travel, they don't like travel to a trail that's only a few miles long. If they ride it and they only have 20 minutes to ride it, they like to ride 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. This expansion of the trail system will give them that opportunity. Redoing Ridgeway. That's going to give us an opportunity to do more of a fun roller coaster type trail that trail runners and hikers can use. But it'll give them that different type of trail that's also necessary for the Indoor Ride Center designation. I've seen the new criteria in the Ride Center designation with my job, and I can tell you that it's tougher to get it nowadays, but the LJ area is poised to become that Ride Center designation, and the only one, could be the only one here in Georgia. We've got a huge opportunity with recreation. Let's use it, and let's help support our county. Thank you.
Terry, can I ask a couple questions, if I may? I'm not going to go into the history right now, but do you have any feel for the time frame of things when the construction or the plans that the Corps would do and their approval? Any idea of a rough time frame?
I think, yes, Miriam Fleming, she's a project manager for Courthouse, so she can answer that.
Hi, as Terry said, I'm Mary Fleming. I'm the operations project manager at Carter's Lake. Once we get the concept plan and it is formally, we start the process, it could take up to 2 years for us even to get approval from planning before any kind of construction starts. The board has a lot of bureaucracy with the government. It could be less than that. We just had a master plan that was completed that included the assessment on the trails that are already there. It could be that they could do a categorical exclusion, which would shorten the process, but that's all up to planning. I don't have any control of that. They could come in and say, well, you know, the Cherokee were here. There could be cultural resources in there. If they find cultural resources in there, it could even take longer. But I would say probably about 2 years before we would be able to start construction.
To follow on to that, up to this point, there's been no real assessment of any impact of this particular trail projects, but that would be part of your plan?
Correct, correct. We have to do an assessment before we can begin any kind of construction.
And the public part of that process, I hope.
We would include the public because it has been such a contentious issue. But generally, when we're doing that type of construction on federal property, unless there's an environmental assessment that goes along with that, public hearings are not generally part of the process, but it has been an issue. So yes, we would hold public hearings.
As I understand the current policies on the shoreline permit process and use, there has been no use or permitted use by private individuals or businesses or companies to do anything along that shoreline currently, except for a marina that I'm aware of. Is that true?
That's correct.
And so it would be a change in the policy?
No, we can have businesses come and do construction work for us, but to operate a business, that goes through a real estate and a lease issue, and the marina will be that's the only concession area that we will have. But we can have private companies come and do work for us. Our operations and management contract, they frequently have private businesses that they subcontract to come do work, and we can do the same thing. But it doesn't mean that just because they're coming to construct a trail, that they're going to be conducting business on our property. That is not permitted. That is a totally different issue. There would be no business being conducted in that area.
The other question, and I'm going to stop, but when I put my boat, go down to the boat ramp and drop it off or park down there for picnicking, I pay a daily user fee of, I think, $5 for an annual pass.
Correct.
But that is not true of the current bike trails, and would that be true for the future trails?
The trails themselves, if there is a trailhead and that's the only thing that's there, by law, I cannot charge for that. There has to be a boat ramp in the area or a swim beach in order for me to be able to charge a day use fee for that area.
So just having a restroom doesn't, and parking doesn't count?
No, that does not trigger a fee. There has to be an activity there, such as a boat ramp or a swim beach, in order to be able to charge a fee. Or a campground, it's camping. Like if you go into dam site. There's a boat ramp there, there's some picnic tables there. There is an area fee that is charged for that area.
Would you or who would be willing to answer questions for those that have asked questions that we as a county commission don't have anything to say for those questions? Can those be addressed to you?
They will be addressed to me. The only questions that I've received a FOIA request, I believe to the attorney for the folks at Woodring. I provided the information that they requested. Other than that, we have only had one phone call. And that wasn't even to complain, that was just to ask what some people were down there doing. Other than that, I have not been asked anything, to provide anything on this issue at this point. So yes, if there are questions or discussions that need to take place, they need to contact me.
I'm just trying to push that problem off on you.
Yeah, no, I completely understand.
In the interest of time, Charlie, I want to do one more statement and I'll quit. I want to address the question we had about the timing and lack of communication and things. I think the first I heard of these trails, other than knowing they were there and been on them, in fact, my story is that I walked the first one at Amadei and I got halfway around and I couldn't make it the rest of the way, so I had to turn around and go back, but that's another story. In June, I think it was, the Transmission provided that funds for the damage and reconstruction of the trails over there. Then it was, I think, January or maybe December when Terry and I and Paige had a private meeting. They had invited me to talk with them concerning the issues that were coming out and the lack of information in that. And I basically received what is in our packet today, a lot of that information she gave to me. This, to my knowledge, tonight, yesterday and today, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the first public conversation or public meeting and discussion that has taken place in the county. I know there's been meetings by the Biking Association, but those are for members, rightly so. We have not, as a county, had any meetings, and I don't believe you had any meetings whatsoever regarding this. So that's been the vacuum, I think, that created the questions. And Travis put this on our agenda to bring some of these questions to the front and to get an open discussion about them. Yesterday was a very good discussion of those things. A lot of things could not be answered because it is a Corps of Engineer project. It's not a county project, as some of the Corps folks that are in Mobile thought it was a county involved in that. I want you to know that that was an incorrect assumption and was corrected. I know that was not the case. So there's been some confusion. There's been some lack of communication in that regard. I hope, and I feel like yesterday we resolved almost all of those issues. There will be more plans, there will be more meetings, there will be more discussions, obviously, because we're only at a concept level at this point. But I would like to invite the Corps and the mountain bikers and even us as a county to get together to work through this and not do it in a silo or in a closed world. It's too broad of a scope for our county and for the citizens to do that. So I hope we can find a way to make that happen.
I agree, and I want to make clear that there was no intention to hide anything, but there wasn't anything to talk about until we got the concept plan. I didn't know what there was going to be in their plan. The first time I saw it was Tuesday.
And that's one of the things that was brought out, I think, in our work session yesterday, is that until just very recently, there wasn't anything to discuss.
And by the way, if you haven't seen the program on public television that Mike was featured and was part of that educational thing, you missed one of the best Georgia stories in a long time, where he was out doing that. I don't know if any of y'all saw that, but I'm going to give it a plug because I saw it, and it was incredible, and it was a good job. Thank you.
So, a couple of
I'm done.
comments. The concept plan was just made available 2 weeks ago, just completed. And so it's hard to talk about something when it's a vague concept and there's nothing to show and look at and talk about in writing. So the timing of this was not intended to withhold information. The information has just become available, number one. Now, having been involved in other projects, are there other things that need to be done? Have you seen the concept plan?
Tuesday was the first time I had seen it.
Okay, is it adequate? Are there more resources that need to come to bear? What's your opinion of that?
Do you mean, do there need to be more trails?
No, I mean, is it complete? Is it complete in the sense that as part of that application process, it's going to be sufficient?
Yes, I think that we could put in for grants and with what they have and be able to be successful in getting funding for this.
Good.
And it's my understanding that that's one of the primary purposes of a letter of support from the commissioners, is that it would assist in obtaining grants and, you know, to be able to demonstrate that we as a county are favorable to this project. And I mentioned yesterday, and I'll say it again, the things that Terry mentioned up here about the economic impact, I absolutely believe is accurate. I think the mountain biking is exceptionally important to Gilmer County, and that whatever we can do to extend that, we need to seriously consider doing. After the meeting yesterday, it was my very, I think, clear understanding, at least on my part, that the attorney for the property owners said flat out, we have no further objections. It's been taken care of. So,
That's one that I knew.
well, I mean, this just came about yesterday, and it was as a result of a good conversation. And it turns out that they were more concerned with the connector, which is now not part of this. And I thought the attorney was very clear that when the connector went away, our objections went away. At least that was the way I took his comments yesterday.
Oh, you couldn't take them any other way.
I mean, he just flat out said it,
Yes.
you know, that we have no further objections. So, I mean, I see no reason why, given the value to Gilmer County of mountain biking and the fact that their attorney has dropped his objections, I certainly can't see any reason why we wouldn't want to go ahead and give a letter of support.
We need it, because otherwise there's funding that we can get that only Terry can get from me. Because at the federal government, I don't have access to those. So I have to use a group that can receive those funds for us in order to be able to accomplish this, because our funding is shrinking every year. So I have to, I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm looking for someone who can give me that dollar to get what we need to get done. Because the Carter project does bring funds in salaries, sales into the local economy. We've even got a website out there. The Fort has a website, Value to the Nation, that says that for salaries within a 5 or 30-mile radius, $5 million in salaries. And then there's $18 million in rent sales within a 30-mile radius that the project brings in. So imagine if we bring more bikers, that number is only going to go up. Of course, I can't say how much it is for bikers because we don't count that. But it's going to be a benefit to the community.
And I think a significant part of that is from Terry's survey of the number of people who have decided to actually buy property here in Gilmer County. Mike, did you want to?
Yeah. I'm going to try to be brief. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Palmieri. I'm a resident of Gilmer County since 1989. Been coming up here since 1980, riding a bicycle. And the reason why I'm wearing my Class A uniform, I'll tell you about that. I work for the Atlanta Fire Department. Been with them 28 years, and the only time I put this uniform on, this Class A suit, when somebody died, or I'm going to a funeral. I put it on today because it shows the ultimate sacrifice in our military, law enforcement, and firefighters. And that sacrifice comes from volunteer service. And we have volunteers here sitting in the audience today that have helped me over the years maintain all these trail systems. They sacrifice their time, their lives from their families to support our county without ever asking for one red cent. That being said, I've been coming up here for years to try to get support from our county commissioners, even when we have one commissioner. And they always kicked us out of the door. They wouldn't give us the time of day. Y'all are the first commissioners to ever give me time of day, and I appreciate that. This is simple. It's not hard. I put a number up on the board yesterday. After 30 years, there's over $9 million. It says 911. That's pretty ironic. Go figure. That's a lot of money that we brought into the community. And we continue to do that today. And we want to continue to do that. And we got to look at our future for our kids, our grandchildren. We got to keep open space open. And it's not only for mountain biking, it's for the hunters, it's for the fishermen, hikers, it's for everybody to enjoy the outdoors. If you go to the city of Atlanta today, turn your radio off, turn your cell phone off, and just listen. It's a living hell. It's noisy. You come up here and get a break. That's why I live up here, because of stress. I mean, I have to deal with death and destruction every 48 hours when I go to work. I come up here to get away from it. That's why I moved here. So this is a peaceful area. It'd be nice for us to preserve it in the future. And you guys have a chance to do that. Doing these trails, it's not going to hurt the residents at that neighborhood. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to benefit you. There's studies all over the U.S. Go to Bentonville, Arkansas. I had a chance to ride with Walmart's grandson. We rode mountain bikes together. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know me. But we talked. And they're putting money into their community there, and they have bicycle paths right behind the back doors of all their houses. 40 miles of it. And the people love it. And Bentonville is booming. And we have the opportunity right in our backyard to keep doing that here. And we've already set the foundation for free. And we want to work with y'all, and we want to do a master plan, and we want to continue working with y'all and work on an MOU for the future of these guys and their kids. If we can get that all set in place before y'all leave office, we've got a great time. And I want to say thank you for considering this, and I hope y'all move forward with it, and we can do our job in raising funds and help Carter's Lake. And we got other projects too. This ain't the only one. So, and we'd like to sit down and go on the future and let you know what we got. We don't hide anything. We're just working and busy just like you guys are. So we're here to help. And that's all the bottom line. So I appreciate it. Thank you. If you pass it tonight, you'll hear me scream.
Thank you. I have just a brief comment about the importance of what we're talking about. I was director of the Christian Learning Center here in Gilmer for 6 years and had daily contact with our students. And only a very, very small percentage of them were involved in team sports, whether it be through the school system or the rec department. The overwhelming majority of them were not involved in any kind of activities like that. But a lot of them would go out and hike and bike and boat and things like that. And so I think for our youth as well as our retirees moving into the community, having outdoor recreational facilities that are not team sport based is just vitally important to our future and future generations. And the beauty of them is that once they're constructed and there's a group that has agreed to maintain them often for free, there's very little ongoing cost to them. It's just a resource that the community has once the investment is made. So I am very much in favor of this. I will continue to support the efforts. I've known Mike and Terry for a good while, and they're some hardworking folks. And in many ways, they've benefited this community more than our economic development efforts that are formal. So I thank you guys for your efforts. And I would like to make this in the form of a motion.
I'll second the motion. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Where's the
No,
shot?
no, screen.
Where's the shot?
It's about time, man. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna hurt my ears when I listen to it.
I just woke up Herman Clark.
I saw him jump. Okay. Reappointment of Jean Smiley to Highlands River Hill. We do have a letter requesting her reappointment. It'll be for a full 3-year term. Is there any discussion on that? If not, I make a motion that we reappoint Jean for a 3-year term on at Highland Rivers.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have several rezoning requests. Before we start on any of them, I'd like to find out if there is anyone here to speak specifically to any one of these zoning requests. Okay, if not, most of these are for conservation. I think one of them is for a garage and guest house. They are all approved by the board. I think there was only one complaint for all of them combined was the one complaint. That being the case, I would like to make a motion that each of these zoning requests as put forth here to approve. With whatever stipulations that there may be on the request. For instance, if the request is for combining property, that it would then be approved contingent on that.
Most of the conservation related ones are, but there's not any on here that would be under the required acreage. So it
That's up to them to do that.
right. It wouldn't be a necessity.
Okay.
So is your motion for all of them?
My motion is for all of the zoning.
I second the approval of all of them.
Is there any discussion on
I've been through them and have no questions.
it? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that brings us to the discussion of possible action of paramedic and EMT personnel. We did get a formal proposal on this. Tony, if you want to present that for us. You had a chance, Kevin?
I got it, but I have not had a chance to digest it at all. Charlie, apologize.
What this lays out is things we talked about in the workshop yesterday that addresses the areas that we have some need in order to retain employees and to stay fair on the market wage for our starting wage for our EMT and paramedic personnel. To give you the numbers, Dallas, like you were asking about yesterday, in order to get our rates to that market point that is viable and fair for the area, that figure is right at about $78,000, which would be offset by the increased revenue we would have from the transport revenue that we'll have come in by the end of the year. We'd also talked about the pay for performance program for our personnel. And as we said yesterday, that figures at about $18,000, but our estimated revenue return on that will be about $60,000, so we'd reap about $45,000 or so benefit from that, $42,000 or so benefit from that difference. All in all, the biggest thing is the EMS business is very competitive on recruiting and retaining paramedics and EMTs. There are many services throughout the state that pay much higher wages than we'll ever be able to, but we're trying to find some things to at least keep us comfortable here in the area that we're in, to prevent those employees from, going to our neighboring counties and other services, and trying to make the benefits worthwhile to attract new ones as well for our part-time pool and our full-time pool. That's kind of the overview of the plan. I'll answer any questions you may have.
I don't remember much discussion about the pay for performance. I really would like to particularly spend more time on that, not tonight, but at another time. Is that possible? We can.
Would you feel more comfortable if we moved this to the June meeting?
Yes, only because the numbers I see, I don't really have a big concern, but I don't understand, particularly the pay for performance piece of this. I'm not comfortable with knowing enough about that right now. So
I
that's
would have to agree with that. At this point, I'd like to.
And let me ask, before we decide one way or another, let me ask Tony, I know you have ads in the paper right now for applications.
Yes.
And those are for EMTs
and paramedics.
And paramedics are, okay. Do you have a lot of cross-trained firemen and?
All of our personnel are cross-trained.
So this really affects a lot of part-time and full-time folks.
It does, and this is just one of those things that if you look at the applications that we're getting in, they're becoming fewer and fewer because we're not offering a lot of the things that attract them that the other counties and services are. This is basically a stopgap measure to prevent the turnover that we see with our personnel and to be able to recruit more folks.
So at the workshop yesterday, Tony, you made the point that with the extra work of the transports away from the emergency room, that your salaries overtime, all that was bumping up.
That's
beyond
right.
your budgeted amount. And we understand that, we do. So I don't want you to have a sense of urgency because of that. We discussed doing budget amendments in August, so we can monitor, get a little more data.
Sure.
And I would prefer to digest this a little bit. I appreciate that it was a very detailed proposal, but I just got it today.
Sure. The main thing for us is, recruitment is huge, but keeping the folks that we've got is worth more than anything because we've got training costs and everything else invested in those folks, and we're just really at that point to where we've got to do something, or else we're going to suffer losing those folks pretty quickly.
Yeah. And it's becoming more critical because of more transport.
Yes.
Yeah. Understood. It was a very complete and very well organized summary though that you gave us today.
Well, I have to thank Lisa at the Human Resources Office for doing that. She was very instrumental and provided a lot of data and was very helpful. So I have to commend her for her help.
And I think, I don't know, David, whether you've had a chance to look at it, but it might be, I think this would be the first pay for performance policy that we would have in this county or have ever had.
It would be, and I had sent y'all an email suggesting that y'all take the time to consider it, not take any action on it at tonight's meeting, because for one, I'm not certain if it's actually, if it's in fact legal. It may not be. And the other portion of it is it's selective to your entire employee census. It's only as to percentage of it. I mean, and Tony, you speak of other counties doing it. Do other counties have a pay for performance aspect, or is it
EMS, there are many EMS services do have it. And what it's based on, a lot of EMS lost revenue is based on patient refusal. And they incentivize that initiative to the employees to be able to, through education to the patients and going further with information to increase those transports rather than get refusals. In turn, what that does is it increases the transports, therefore the revenue increases. And what you do is, it affects the whole employee census. It's everybody. It's not a targeted group. It's everybody that does the EMS portion of it. Basically, what you do is you take the number of calls ran by those trucks in, let's say, a month's time, and you compare the transport rate to the percentage of calls, and the crews that have the highest transport rate for those percentage of calls are eligible for that benefit.
When I was speaking of a portion, I wasn't necessarily just narrowing it down to fire department, I'm talking about the entirety of the county personnel there. So that was, and it's just some things that I felt like that needed just to be, further investigated or at least researched, and I think that that's a consensus.
And the study that was provided in that Lisa actually helped pull from World of Work actually does have a very detailed layout of the pay for performance incentives that are now being considered more in local government applications.
Yeah, I just picked that up here tonight, so I have that, but I haven't read it.
So give us a chance to digest it all.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. I would, if that's the case, I'd make a motion that we table it for make it for the June meeting.
Go ahead and put it on that.
Yeah.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to approve the architectural contract for the Cherry Lock Fire Station project.
That was the another item that should have been on the agenda.
Yeah, we've already passed through that, haven't we?
Yeah, actually, we had removed it from the work session, but I neglected to remove that in the motion here. So, I would make a motion and we lay it aside.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to authorize the acceptance of property from the System family for a portion of the Cherry Log Fire Station. Is there any discussion on that? If not, I would make a motion that we do approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to authorize the proposed land swaps and conveyances with the adjoining property owners for the Cherry Log Fire Station. Any discussion? If not, I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and action on the airport AWS system. I think we probably need to stay on that. And from what I gathered, Gilmer is kind of the only county that's gone blind on this since the state stopped the funding. And of course, we have $200 and some cents money that we have to spend in an appropriate mandate.
Yeah, we had that discussion yesterday, and at this point in time, I think this is acceptable. I look forward to modernizing things, but we're not going to do that at this time.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the funding of the AWAS information.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I had a call today, somebody asking me about that, Jim. Said, I used to pick up the weather, I think you said off of ETC's cable television channel somewhere, and they got it from our communication to the weather channel, or to the National Weather Service, and then back on the cable, and it wasn't there, and he wanted to know why. So today I had that conversation.
You tell him to be patient.
I told him, yes, I did accept that. I said, I know why it happened, and we'll take care of it
Tonight.
tonight. Fast response.
Okay, next item is approval of DNR intergovernmental agreement. Sandy's not here right now. Do you know if we got a response back from DNR with the change rule?
They did in fact change it.
Okay, so they have made that particular change. Just that much. And that was the only thing we were asking them to change. Okay, with that in mind, I will make a motion that we approve the intergovernmental agreement.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Which brings us to citizens wishing to speak. Anybody can say anything on anything.
more or less.
Why is it so cold in here?
You have to come to the front and identify.
It's so I can stay awake. I apologize.
Can we ride in your boat?
That would be a pleasure to do that. I'm leaving right after this meeting for West Point. You're welcome to follow me.
Well, he could ride down to West Point.
Ride down to West Point.
In the boat.
Get the boat. You got about 45 minutes, I was gonna go over a few things.
Bring it on, Scott. I got all night.
Question was there.
I want to do that.
Did you have something, Scott?
No, I'm just.
It was kind of like the vandalism.
Well, you know, I like hearing you talk.
It was kind of like the vandalism thing, you know.
Maybe maybe next month.
Okay.
I'll work on something.
All right.
Any other citizens wishing to speak on any topic that will take less than 45 minutes? All right, then I would make a motion that we go into executive session with no action anticipated.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, folks. We appreciate it.
Hey, everybody there?